Welcome back to another episode of the Road to 12. Today we are pleased to have on the show Mr. Danny Manger. Danny, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course, it's good to be here.
Danny, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you do over in your office?
Absolutely. So athletic compliance is something that I didn't really know about until I started working there. And as much as people like to pin us out as the bad guy, a lot of the times I like to think of myself as not necessarily a bad guy, but we do happen to be the liaison between the NCAA, the monster of an organization that it is, and any college athletics on our campus. So sometimes we have to do the tough thing and tell people no, but we pretty much monitor all athlete and team activities here on campus for any sport.
So a good guy that gets a bad rap in a
Absolutely.
misunderstood office.
Absolutely.
We're a women's basketball show, so we want to talk about the women's basketball team. I'm sure this new NIL era has posed many changes, certainly many challenges for you guys in the office. I know Paige was a big name before she even came to UConn. What have you seen with her new deals? How have the NCAA regulations sort of affected that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been at the office for about a year now, so I've seen that transition from having to literally monitor elite athletes' social media accounts to now having that just be completely eliminated and athletes sort of be given that free reign to partner with whatever organization they would like to. And in a way, it's complicated the whole field of college athletics, but it's actually simplified sort of the operations of our office because it's one less thing for us to worry about.
Right.
I find that hard to believe that Paige Beckers could simplify any office like yours. When Paige Beckers is obviously, once a generational women's basketball player, but she's now a once in a generational athlete with these, deals she's making with StockX and Gatorade, and that must just create some sort of challenge for your office.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting in my position too, because not only have I seen this change in all of college athletics, but I'm seeing it with one of the most revolutionary players in college athletics that we've seen. And our job now as the office is simply to sort of ratify and confirm whatever organization she's working with, but we honestly don't really have a say with what she chooses when it comes to those partnerships. And as someone who's worked within, the NCAA and college athletics, you're seeing these students get so many more rights as student athletes, which, depending on whether you're a fan of the players or the NCAA or college athletics in general, some people like that and think that it really gives kids a good opportunity now for schools, and some people may not like that because it's sort of changing the whole landscape of college athletics and taking the emphasis off of other things.
Right, and we've talked about Gino being a little skeptical of this NIL era, of just how recruiting will affect that. Have you seen that in your own office? Is that sort of an incentive for coaches to get some top-tier players to the program?
We haven't seen our school necessarily do that yet with any of the coaches, but as you see in the news, a lot of these players now are looking at these deals that are now associated with college teams, which was something that was unique to professional sports for so long.
Right.
And I think that going forward, it's going to be something that's very unique to the program and the school. And though, as we all know, Gino is a very unique coach and runs a very unique program, I think that recruiting tool that they can now use is going to become very specific to a certain team, a certain coach, a certain front office.
Mm-hmm.
Just recently in the media, we had Travis Hunter decommit from Florida State, number 2 prospect in college football, decommitting from Florida State to go to Deion Sanders' program. Obviously, there is literally a cash incentive involved with that, stipulation that he plays there. Do you expect to see signing bonuses like this occur in the future? How do you think this changes the landscape of college and professional athletes? And really that line we were talking about, before we started filming today, like, what are the barriers if people are getting paid to commit to college?
Yeah, I think for so long we've seen the landscape change in terms of being able to go pro earlier, kids going pro way earlier than they were in years past. And this has sort of completely flipped it on its head. And now, as we saw this past week, like, kids are literally getting signing bonuses to go to these schools. What makes that different from kids getting signing bonuses to go to professional teams when they, sign out of college? So I think that, unfortunately, that may, sort of divert some of the focus that the NCAA has tried to keep on education for student athletes for so long. Maybe not entirely, but I think it's definitely going to complicate how the NCAA goes forward and tries to sort of refocus the emphasis on, education, finishing your degree, having athletes stay in school for a full 4 years. I think they're going to have a tougher time doing that if stuff like this continues.
Right. I think it's very interesting, and I'm also interested in seeing how that progresses over time, how the NCAA makes new rules and regulations to deal with that. Well, we thank you, Danny, for coming on the show today. Look forward for more special guests, inside sources, as Spencer would say, in the future. For now, thanks for watching The Road to 12, and we'll see you guys next week.